You're listening to today's inspirational message on the Proverbs with Bjorklund.
In the year that I'm recording these Proverbs, there has been a lot of angst among people about government and about what people are doing in our world, and people that seem to be at odds even with people who have different political opinions and things of that nature. And when we understand God's sovereignty, it shows us something about government. It shows us something about how we live. Verse 7 says this. It says, "When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him." Derek Kidner, his fine commentary, says, "Consult God's wishes, not man's. He can handle the people that you fear." And then we're told, "Better is a little with righteousness than great revenue with injustice. The heart of the man plans his ways, but the Lord establishes his steps." And then it goes into this statement about the oracle of on the lips of a king. Now, a king was somebody who ruled, and I think there's something here to learn about government. And that is that an ideal government official, verse 10, is somebody who's without sin in their judgment. Verse 10 says his mouth does not sin in judgment. Somebody who promotes justice and fairness, verse 11, a just balance, scales are the Lord's. All the weights in the bag are his work. Verse 12, it's somebody who's opposed to evil. It's an abomination to kings to do evil, for the throne is established by righteousness. Verse 13, they encourage truth. Righteous lips are a delight for a king, and he loves him who speaks what is right. And verse 14, a king's wrath is a messenger of death, and a wise man will appease it, that it's worth not needlessly offending somebody in power. And then verse 15, in the light of the king's face there is life, and his favor is like a cloud that brings a spring rain. Somebody in power can add to our life. And so this, in a way, promotes kind of this government official who doesn't fear people, but instead is in a place that they focus on justice and oppose evil and celebrate truth. And when that happens, their reign will be established. And why does this matter in the sovereignty of God? Well, we're taught in the scriptures that God is sovereign over who rules. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have an application from these Proverbs about who we vote for, how we respond to people in power, or how we use power if we have it, or even how we challenge those that are corrupted by power. But what it does mean is that we can say, God, I know that this is what you want, and I will trust that you are at work in and through this person one way or another. You know, almost all people I know think that they would oppose evil given a chance. But to oppose evil in some ways means that we are against what God is against. And it will often mean being at odds with any political party on at least a couple issues here and there. And this is what I want maybe to get from this today, maybe for you to get from this today, and that is that God sovereignly places people in power, but it doesn't mean that you go along with whatever's there. It means that you strive to help those people be in power who will help the reign of God be realized in a tangible way in the world in which we live. And integrity won't be deaf to the conscience or blind to truth here in verse 12, verse 13, but instead it will understand the interplay of these things. And God is at work in ways that it's wise for me, wise for you to be able to say that even though there is a governance of the Lord, there's governance of people, and I have to interact with it even if it's not in accordance with exactly what I think is the right thing for God to do. So I'm going to rest that God's the ultimate source, but I'm going to also work to bring about the human source of power. If God's the ultimate source, I can rest, but I'm going to work to have just human government. and be somebody who brings just power to bear wherever I may have the opportunity to bring power to bear.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.